This is Carl Leopson at the University of Arizona, and we're continuing to walk through the course syllabus. Now let's take a look at the course schedule. As I mentioned previously, the course starts on Wednesday, January 9th, but our course week will run from Mondays through Sundays. All right. So if you look here, you'll always see the starting date for that week and the ending date by which the activities that are part of the course are due. All right. We're going to start with some basic introductions. We're going to watch a video that shows you what single subject research is all about, ask you to look up some articles, do some extended readings. Those will always be listed here. The assignments will always be listed in this column. So after we do the basic introduction, the next thing we're going to do is start to work through developing research questions and a literature review. One issue with this class is that you have to develop research questions quickly if you're going to create your proposal. We have to figure out exactly what it is that you're going to create a proposal about. So we're kind of back-ending the scientific process. We're not just asking you to have an interest and select a type of research that's appropriate. We're asking you to select single subject research as your method for conducting research and come up with a way to apply that to a subject you're interested in. So during that second week, we're going to work really hard at coming up with research questions. I'm going to ask you to post 3 possible questions, and I'll help sort through them and refine them, and so will your peers, to come up with something that you can actually study using single subject research. The third week, we'll start to talk about basic elements of single subject research design. Part of how to write your proposal and include those elements. We'll start to talk about social validity, treatment integrity. We'll talk about how to do the article reviews that are one of the major elements in the course. I'll also, in that third week, be asking you to give me 3 articles that will be part of the literature review, the short 1.5 page write-up that leads to your research questions in your proposal. During the fourth week, we're going to look at recording methods. Single subject research evolves out of the field of applied behavior analysis, and so it calls for a really careful collection of behavioral data, and also calls for defining behavior and measuring it carefully. So we'll spend a good bit of time on that. I'm going to ask you to collect some data and describe it, and we'll start to talk a little more about treatment integrity and reliability, and I wrote a chapter this last year that should explain treatment integrity fairly well for you. The fifth week is when we'll do our visual analysis of graphic data, learn how to look at single subject design graphs and interpret them and report on them. The sixth week is when we start looking at the various formats of single subject design. And the first we'll look at are the A, B, and withdrawal designs. And when we do start these individual designs, there will be a list of possible articles for you to read, and during each week you'll read one of those. In addition to the book chapter, you'll read one of those articles and then post an article review and do a little discussion post about the article, and then maybe a little discussion with some other folks who read the same article that you chose to read. Some interesting stuff in here. I've tried to mix it up. I've tried to make it not just within the realm of special education, and make some of them are kind of humorous, actually. The seventh week, we'll take a look at multiple baseline designs and follow the same format. We'll read the chapter on multiple baseline designs. We'll choose one article that uses a multiple baseline design, and then we will post an article review go to the discussion section and post a small group discussion about one of the articles that you chose to read. I think I missed here was, oh, each week as we start to develop our proposal, when I said we develop proposals piece by piece, in the discussion section I'm going to have you post that portion of your methods section that you've developed. That way I can read through the whole thing there in the discussion section. Others can read your draft. I can point out what's good and what might need some improvement. I hope you don't mind sharing with your peers, but we're all going to learn a lot from reading each other's work, and then you'll have the opportunity to revise your work for your final project based on some of the feedback you get from me and the things that you see that work well in the posts of other people. So during that 6th week we'll be posting the methods section draft on participants, setting, and materials in your study. 7th week it will be the response definition and how you plan to measure in your research proposal. The 8th week we'll talk about alternating treatment designs, and you will be posting the experimental design part of your project draft in the discussion section. The 9th week we'll talk changing criterion designs. Now, out of those 4 types of designs, you only have to post in the Dropbox 2 article reviews. All right? Remember, you only review two articles, not 4. Week 10 is visual representation of data, which is where we create graphs. I love doing that. I create single subject design graphs for my students when they have publications, and I hope that I'll be able to help you do a good job of creating them. We'll have some video assistance that I'll put together. In week 11 we're going to talk about the statistical analysis of single subject data. That's fairly new, and we're going to read from some people who strongly support it, like Parker and Van Est, and we're going to read about from some folks who strongly oppose it, like Woolery. But we'll also post our draft in the discussion section of our analysis of data for our proposal. The 12th week we'll take a look at the completion of IRB documentation. The 13th week we will do the scenario quiz, and you will be such a whiz at single subject design by then that the scenario quiz will be really easy. And the final 2 weeks of class I am leaving completely open for you to finish up anything that you haven't done so far in class and to finish up your proposals. Again, I know it looks like a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but I can tell you that by the time you complete all of this, you will be fairly proficient in single subject research design.